In this guide, I will be teaching you how to play Sprout like a pro. We'll go over some advanced tips, I'll teach you when to pick him in the draft, which in high elo Brawl Stars is very important. And last but not least, we'll analyze one of the hardest and most common matchups for Sprout. Now this little guy has been sitting in my PFP for about the last 6 years now, so I expect each and every one of you to know some basics. Most importantly, always play supercharge gear so you get your wall in 4 shots instead of 5. Always play the second gadget, it's called transplant, and always play the first star power. And another thing I think most of you guys know is the bouncing mechanic. As with Rico, if you bounce your shot in Brawl Stars, you're gonna have more range, not just on Rico, but this goes for every brawler. So Rico, Sprout, Ruffs, and you should always be doing this on Sprout. So search every opportunity possible where you can bounce your shot in order to get more range. This is especially important on Shooting Star, where you have this one block wall in the middle of the map. And I know it can be hard for newer players to bounce their shots off. My tip would be to aim for the upper half of the block, that way your bounce won't bounce off back in your direction. However, if you overdo it too much, it might just go through the wall, it will look like it will just go past the wall basically. And this also depends on your ping. If you have a bad ping, or a high ping I should say, it can be really hard to pull these stunts off. Now before we move on to the pro tips, I'm gonna give you an advanced tip. You can knock yourself back with Sprout Super. I think most long-time players have seen this before. It revolves just around placing the super on top of you or very closely next to you, so you kind of jump in the air for just a split second. And using this time frame you can dodge a lot of abilities. A Dyna super or a Mandy super, as you can see in this clip. There's really a lot of stuff you can do, and this is a big reason why the first gadget is so useless, because in situations when, let's say, a crow is gonna jump on you, healing 1500 HP when you're next to a bush doesn't compare to just getting your super, knocking yourself back, and getting 0 damage, dodging the whole super. So this is why the first gadget is pretty useful. Okay, now moving on to the pro tip, you can actually extend your shot when you have a super. All you need to do is aim your super like this and then instantly follow up with a shot. So it's gonna look like this. Super and shoot. This is extremely helpful to get kills in knockout, unless of course you use your super on max range and your shot can't reach it. But in most cases this will help you a lot, and you can do it every single time you get a super. Now the next pro tip is you can move the ball with a Sprout wall. And guys, whenever you see a clip of this going viral on TikTok or Insta or whatever, don't just say, oh wow, cool clip. Think about how you can do this in your games. So as you can see, there's this map right here. I actually forgot the name right now and I couldn't really find the full map, but I do have a screenshot. And what's going to happen here a lot of the times, especially on ladder, is the team, your team or the enemy team, is going to corner the ball. You can see there's these bushes and one wall, and what you can actually do here is Sprout wall the gap, so the ball is going to get pushed, and the ball is going to get pushed to the nearest place where it can be again. So in this case right here, as you can see, of course there's no ball. It's just to show you the principle. If I super too low, the ball is going to stay in the gap because the wall doesn't fill all the space. As you can see, if I place it like this, the gap is going to get filled and the ball would technically get pushed out, either on this side right here, or if the ball was a little bit more away from the top wall, it would get pushed down because the space or the way is shorter, the path is shorter. I don't know if you guys are into math or physics, but I like to think of it as the path of least resistance. It's kind of the same principle if you think about it. So next we have the 2 most important wall positions you must master if you want to be good at Sprout. Both of them are what I call a 3-way split. Basically means splitting the map into 3 different compartments. In competitive Brawl Stars, this is especially relevant on Gold Arm Gulch and on Flaring Phoenix. Now in this environment right here, and guys, don't mind the Frank by the way, it's easier to explain because we have this circle in the middle. So basically I want to shoot my wall 2 blocks away from this block and from this block, so somewhere like there. And you see how it splits the map into 3 different parts? That's what I call a 3-way split. Now in Flaring Phoenix, the most important wall is going to be right here, mainly so you can cut off 1 or even 2 of the enemy team. But in many cases you're gonna have someone either push left or push right, and that's when you want to adapt your wall. And this is gonna be the important spot right here, 2 blocks away from the unbreakable and kind of diagonally 1 block away from the left wall. This way you're isolating the top of the map and the left compartment, and of course your team on the bottom side of the map. Okay, now let's talk about the draft. The golden opportunity when you should pick Sprout is when you have last pick and there are no wall breakers or no counters on the map. As you can see right here, there is no tick. Sometimes you still have to go Sprout into tick because it's your best option. But as you can see, Piper, Jean, Angelo, Squeak, Mandy. Angelo and Mandy can run a double pierce, and on this map some could argue Sprout is not the ideal mid into Angelo, but I'm just trying to show the principle right here. Same thing goes for Backyard Bowl. If you have last pick and your enemies are playing something like Bo, Charlie and something else, maybe even a Spike, of course in high elo you might not see it, but in low elo guys, Sprout is a free pick. So if any of you are still in mythic or legendary rank, keep your eyes open for a Sprout because it will be a really easy game. All you need to do is stand behind the wall, farm your super and use your wall to block someone off and kill them. That's literally all you gotta do with Sprout. And this also works for almost every map. Of course, right now in this meta we do have a lot of tanks, and in high elo Sprout might not be the best right now, but there are times when Sprout can be really good, especially in low elo as I said before. The only mode where I wouldn't recommend this might be hot zone, because it's better if you go for something for more zone control. If you already have two kind of weak mid brawlers, the enemies are playing triple mid, so you might say, you know, let's say something like Penny, Bell, Pam, something like that. So you might say, you know, Sprout has a completely free matchup, he can get many walls, maybe he can get a double wall and close off mid. The point is, if your mid is weak in hot zone, you might be better off going for something else that can support your mid. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about the matchup Sprout against Tick. This is a very common matchup because Sprout is the only thrower that has near as much range as Tick does. And the reason why this is one of the hardest matchups, most casual players, or almost every casual player I would say Tick beats Sprout. And the reason is Tick has a little bit more range. This is true, but it always comes in trade-offs, right? Sprout has one shot, one projectile, he does 2k damage, 2080. Tick has 3 mines, he did 1260. Now they do 1360 and they stay on the map longer than Sprout's shot, of course. But on the other hand, it's harder to hit multiple projectiles. You can see in a pro game like this, Tick is probably gonna hit 1 mine on average, or not even 1 mine across the whole game on average. So yeah, that's kind of the trade-off you gotta make with these two brawlers. And it's all about optimizing the matchup for you. So the main thing Joker can do here is what I showed you before, is bounce your shot off the wall so you get more range. Other than that, it's a pretty stale matchup, you know, as Knockout usually is. You're gonna wait for the late game, but we are gonna focus on Joker here. So as you can see, Marco needs to pinch his lane. In this game right here, both of SK's lanes are winning, which is kind of rare, but this basically means the Tick needs to help his lanes. And every time he shoots his lane, every time he uses ammo for one of his mates, you see Joker's gonna push up, and this is actually perfect, taking advantage of the ammo he used on the lane. And now he has a better position, and of course, in every matchup you can't just look at two brawlers, you need to see the full picture. And right here, SK are winning both lanes. I mean, right now on the right side it's kind of equal, but you will see over the course of the game SK is playing this better. So that always makes a difference, right? If Joker was on the Tick here, and still had 2 winning lanes, then the Tick would win, so yeah. But as you can see, Joker is playing it really slow, not pushing too much, kind of retreating now. And the next thing you can do is try to go around the lane. As you can see, Joker's going right now. Of course, this again only works if you're actually winning the lane. If the enemy's pushing down, if Jaeyoung is standing right here, of course, he can't walk through there. But in this case, he can. And this will actually allow him to get his position in mid back. He couldn't do this normally because there are mines right here, but by walking through the lane he can get back to mid. Now you can see Marco shot left, he shot mid, but when it didn't really do that much work, and he shoots right. So he's low on ammo right now, but you always gotta play patient in Knockout. You see Joker's not overextending, he's staying back. Subime used his super, he might go in for a play now, but as you can see Joker's playing it pretty slow and getting hit by Tick maximum 1 mine per shot. He's never getting hit by 2, or definitely not by all 3 mines. Now as you can see, Marco is shooting the lanes again, and this is where Joker has an opening and he can go in for a play. However, Tick has super. And Tick head is really good against Sprout. Bad players are gonna struggle just with hitting it. For good players, however, even if you hit all shots onto the Tick head as a Sprout, you're gonna have no ammo, so you're gonna get pushed back pretty far. So as you can see, Joker retreats, makes sure the Tick head dies, and now it's again kind of an equal position, and of course the lanes do have a big impact right here. Subime goes in for a play, gets Yoshi low, Yoshi survives, he dies to Joker, and this is kind of where Sprout is starting to be better than Tick, because Sprout is a reactive brawler. You can shoot when you want, who you want, and you do 2k damage. Of course it's not always easy to hit your shot, but you do 2k damage. And on Tick it's more of a kind of a passive brawler, right? And you need to shoot in advance. So of course right now when one of your mates is dead, you know, it's a 3v2. I'm gonna fast forward, this game is done. SK win the round, and now next game we have the same thing again. As you can see, Joker and Marco tend to stand in the corner of these walls a little bit. It's good for Marco because he still has the same range and he can't get hit by the bounce shot from Joker. As for Joker, this just allows him to kind of keep the same position even when mid is closed, and of course when the mines are going to go away, he's going to go back to mid. He doesn't want to stand there all game. Now as you can see, Angelo is doing a good job on his left lane on the left side of the map, so Joker is using this and pushing up again. And yeah, like I said before, the lanes do make a big difference. If Biso and Tsubame were winning their lanes, it would be a different game of course. Joker tries to walk up, Marco shoots in a good position where, you know, you as a tick you should shoot in a place where you either get hit by 2 mines and then, you know, you're usually going to retreat because you took a lot of damage, or you get hit by 1 mine but you're stopped from the next 2 mines so you won't push up even more. That's how you need to shoot with a tick. This is what Marco does, so Joker is forced to retreat and it's going to be a slow game again. Both of the throwers are back in mid. Joker goes the pinch on the right one side. Now when Joker uses ammo on his lanes, it's not the same as when Tick shoots because it's harder for Tick to react. That's kind of what I said before. It's way easier for Sprout to react. So yeah, it doesn't really make a difference, and Tick is not a great playmaker, right? If he rushes, he can only really rush with his super and maybe his gadget, but you know, it's not a great play. Now once again, same maneuver on the right side. Yoshi is pushed up on his lane so Joker can sneak through mid. He does get hit by quite some shots actually, it's not good. The Tick Hyper is going to be really good in endgame, I would say. It's better than Sprout's Hyper. Sprout Hyper is great in heist because of his super damage, but the main reason you use Sprout Hyper in knockout is for a speed boost, I would say. As for Tick Hyper, is Tick Super with the hypercharge is of course really good. It's really fast and it drops these mines that do 4000 damage each, which makes it really powerful and good against Sprout in the endgame. And as you can see, even when Joker has position in mid, he can't push Marco too much and die. He can never overextend, so he needs to retreat, and they keep playing a slow game again and again and again. It's just what you gotta do. Okay, let's fast forward a bit so it doesn't get too repetitive. Angelo pushing up on his lane, we had this multiple times now. Joker goes through mid, Marco blocks off mid so he can't. Marco hypercharge incoming. Now you see SK, they retreat instantly because they know how dangerous the ticket is and they have to destroy it. So this ticket actually really gave Team Red a lot of pressure and a good position again. Now they destroy the ticket. Marco shot the left lane 2 times. He does have ammo back now, but this is where Joker tries to catch Marco off guard. He just sneaks mid, which is something you can do against Tick sometimes. Marco realizes this though. Good shots, well placed shots from him. Hits him with 2 mines, it's what I said before. Hits him with 2 mines, he can either go back and get hit by 1 more mine and there's an incoming shot, so he will probably die. Or he can go even more up the map, which, you know, now he's not left with any choice. So he goes up even more, and this is where, you know, Joker 2k HP. Tsubame has a gadget, I think he's gonna die to the gadget. Yeah, he's gonna die to the gadget. And now 3v2 for Team Red. So as you can see, 1 small mistake, 1 impatient play, and you kind of lost the round. So last game, it's gonna be a slow round. Again, I'm gonna fast forward a bit. Tick has a normal super and Joker has his hypercharge. Okay, and once again we see this move here, and this time he does decide to tank a shot. This is very important, guys. If all you need to do is tank 1 tick shot to get a better position, then do it, because now Joker has his position and he only lost 1k HP, so it's not that bad. Of course, be aware if you're gonna get hit 5 more times afterwards, but you know, just 1 mine alone won't deal that much damage, so it's fine, you can tank it. And this is where the hypercharge speed comes in. This is what I said before. Tick does have a super, so he needs to take it down first. The hypercharge wall is not any different from Joker's regular wall. He can cut off Tick and kill Jae-Young. He can cut off Jae-Young and kill Tick. Gus does have a shield. So yeah, there's plenty of things they can do here. They can also just wait until endgame. However, of course, if he doesn't have a hyper and Marco does, it might be a little hard then. Kind of a missed wall here and they need to retreat. don't overextend, same thing as before. And as you can see, slowly, bit for bit, Tick is pushing Sprout back to his side of the map. And this is why randoms say Tick is better in this matchup. He does have more range, so over time, you know, he can push Sprout back a little bit. But what I'm trying to show you is how Joker is fighting it, and he's doing a great job. Of course, you know, there are some misplays, even professionals do some misplays, but it's fine. Again, getting space on the sides and the lanes are winning. Subime is kind of pushing OP now on the left side. Now he shot the lane 2 times, so Joker goes back in mid, takes advantage of the position, can't really land any hits and is forced to retreat. And this is where Angelo makes a good play. Once again, they're abusing the speed, this time not of the Sprout hypercharge, but of the Angelo hypercharge, and they're basically saying, let's put Sprout on Subime on the left lane and we're just gonna rush Tick. Okay, that's why either you're gonna go Sprout against Tick or Max, usually if you don't have a thrower on your team. Because the other easiest way to play against Tick is simply to rush him, and this is what they use the Angelo hypercharge for. You can see OP going in, kills Bizo first, but you know, it's kind of a game here. 3v2 again. Now we're not gonna watch the second set because it's very repetitive, as you could see already in this clip, but basically always play slow, be patient, try to bounce your shots off as much as you can. If you can get position by walking up on your lanes, if your lanes are winning. If your lanes are losing, it's very hard, right? If your lanes are losing, you probably can't beat Tick, I would say. In a pro game, that is. Of course, in ranked, you can always skill lift your opponent. So yeah, that's what you can try to do. This was the guide how to play Sprout. Keep your eyes open for the Sprout last pick in the draft. Practice the pro tips I showed you in the start. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video so I can keep on making more. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.